Hi, I'm Brian Kurtz, and these videos are meant to accompany a book called Access the Real You, Touching Your Divinity and Applying Its Wisdom to Your Life. I hope they serve.
So here's the next piece. All these thoughts generating chemicals in your body, in your brain, that hit your body are important, but they're not everything. The most important piece is remembering, reconnecting to that noticer place and being there as often as you can, being in the awareness that you are and being in that place. Now, again, what you may notice, and again, I encourage you to not just notice the thoughts your brain is generating, but notice them and let them go like cars going down the road. When you can notice your thoughts and not let them grab you and take you down the rabbit hole, you're able to disengage from that. You're able to reduce the stress that would be caused by that. Now, the more of these thoughts you notice, you're going to begin to notice that there are issues. Any and all issues that may come up are, by definition, a comparison between what I call point A and point B. Point A is what is so about the situation, the person, the circumstance. Point B is what I'd prefer instead of point A. So he said X. I wish he'd said Y. I have $500 in the bank. I wish I had 1,000. I have $1,000,000 in the bank. I wish I had 2,000,000. The brain will always compare this to that. There's always, in any upset, in anything that has you feel angry, sad, disappointed, frustrated, always has a what so and what I'd prefer instead. Now, this goes back all the way to Adam and Eve. People who wrote the Bible and wrote this first lesson in the Old Testament after the creation story had this story of Adam and Eve. Now, churches who want to control people's behavior have used Adam and Eve to be the big shame-generating guilt trip, requiring some redeemer. That's the dogma. I'm going to get away from the dogma. I'm going to give you Brian's version of Adam and Eve. So here's Adam and Eve. God creates Adam and Eve. Hey, Adam, hi, Eve. I'm God. I created you. I put you here in the Garden of Eden. Everything here is perfect and just for you. The ground is so soft here, you don't even need a bed to lie down on. The weather here is so perfect, you don't even need to wear clothes. Just be here, be fruitful, and multiply. That's all I want you to do. Oh, and I'm going to give you body parts. You're going to love being fruitful and multiplying. You're going to want to do it all day. Have a blast. Really enjoy yourself. But remember, all I want you to do is be here, be fruitful, and multiply. Now, there's one rule. See that tree over there? That tree back over there contains the knowledge of good and evil. I don't want you to eat the fruit from that tree. I do not want you to have the knowledge of good and evil. Well, what happens? Patriarchal Judeo-Christian society, it's Eve's fault. Everything's got to be the woman's fault, right? Patriarchy has to have it that way. So, and they throw a snake in to make it especially mysterious. So the snake talks to Eve, and Eve talks to Adam and gets Adam to have some of that fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Adam eats that, then he has the knowledge of good and evil. He gives some to Eve. Eve has some of the fruit, and she has the knowledge of good and evil. Next thing you know, they both have the knowledge of good and evil. And they look down at their bodies and they go, we're not wearing any clothes. Is that good or evil? Must be evil. We better cover ourselves. Next thing you know, they get to covering themselves when they realize, oh man, we disobeyed God. That must make us evil. That must make us inherently evil. Now, this is the church story. What I'm going to ask you to consider is the possibility that there's another way to look at this. Like Adam and Eve, once obtaining the knowledge of good and evil, considered themselves separated. Good, evil, right, wrong, up, down, you, me, us, them, Democrat, Republican, however you want to set up a divisor, is dividing, separating, alienating, getting farther away from inherent oneness and connection. The Adam and Eve story was about this original sin. Sin's just an archery term from medieval days. It was the distance. It was the distance between the bullseye and where the arrow hit that wasn't the bullseye. If it was 6 inches away, the sin, as it was known, was 6 inches. That's all sin is a difference, a distance, if you will, from perfection. The distance between what's so and what I would prefer operates the same way. Where there is a distance between what's so, point A, and what I'd prefer instead, point B, that distance is, by definition, duality consciousness. And how much you care about that, the intensity of that distance, how much you care has direct impact on how it all feels. Notice that. When we can separate consciously what's so from what we prefer and be in the awareness that that division distance has occurred, we can step back from it and hold it in what I'll call like a bowl of awareness. Like if you drop a couple of toothpicks, a point A and point B toothpick into the bowl, they roll down to the bottom of the bowl and they come together. At that point, there's no distance. In the awareness, not that you just have, but in the awareness that you are, when you can notice that there's a point A and a point B, or what's so and what I'd prefer, then you can step back from that and study, why is the point B preference the unfulfilled need or the unfulfilled expectation or the unmet preference? Why is that a preference for me? Don't beat yourself up or make yourself wrong for having preferences and desires, but in the awareness of them, you can work on that. You can learn about yourself. You can do some self-study. You can be introspective. You can step back from the inherent conflict in the comparison and be in the awareness that brings you back to wholeness.